This episode is brought to you by our good friends at NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. I'm sure by now you've all gotten back into your Sunday routines, but they could be even better. With NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get the most live NFL games all in one place, every game, every Sunday, and you can even watch up to 4 different games at once with multi-view, one of my favorite inventions of this decade. It's exactly what you need to catch all the action. Make your Sundays more magical. And also, YouTube TV is great. I got it this year. It's awesome. Sign up now at youtube.com/BS. Device and content restrictions apply. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We got another Rams Up Roundtable coming back at you. How's it going, Paul Walia?
Fantastic. Enjoying the last couple of weeks of August. Looking forward to the start of the season.
Yeah, we did a nice little quick recap, a quick reaction video of the Rams-Cowboys game. Ian here. Ian's going to join us and set us straight on a few things. He's been watching film. I don't know if you knew that, Ian, but we are basically giving you a homework assignment during that quick reaction video. So hopefully you've looked at some film.
I'm a film junkie, gentlemen, and there's nothing like looking at all 22 to tell the whole picture, no matter if it's preseason, regular season, playoff time. Watching on the TV broadcast or watching highlights on YouTube or whatever app anyone watches their games on, it's only a small picture compared to the full all 22 camera angles that luckily I have some access to. So don't worry, I'll give you the scoop on what the hell happened.
So before we get into that, I think, Ian, you had something you wanted to say about this Ernest Jones injury. Now we know he's apparently coming back tomorrow to practice.
Thank God.
And Paul, I know you have some opinions on how the Rams have handled this injury. So what are your thoughts on that, Ian?
So luckily, McVay said, hey, we got good news back on the knee, and that's fantastic because, look, he's our best linebacker, clearly. He's a Pro Bowl level linebacker, in my opinion, inside linebacker. And my goodness, if he's out for any extended period of time, I mean, gentlemen, Ram Nation out there listening in, not good. I thought Roseman played admirably last year, but can we rely on him being the main guy all 3 downs? I don't know. So good news that he's back, but guys, correct me if I'm wrong here. Does this not smell like another Todd Gurley, Terrell Lewis situation with the knee constantly being a thing? He got his knee banged up on a blitz, right, Paul? We were talking off camera that you had mentioned. Mm-hmm. What game was that in? Do you remember what game that was last year?
I think it was like game 3. I think it was pretty early in the season. Game 3. I think this is what it was. I think there was a game 3 or game 4. He was coming on a blitz, and he got cut right at the knee. And after that, we started to see these reports. So that's just me, shot in the dark. But I think that's probably where it occurred.
Yeah. So that happened then early in the season. Then what happens? His knee was swelling, and they held him out the Green Bay Packer game that Brett Rippon started the week before the bye because they said it wasn't in a good spot. Then obviously he had 5 weeks or not 5 weeks, excuse me. He had an extra week to recover. He felt good enough, started, wrapping it, doing the special tape to it. And then by the end of the year, he had said, hey, I feel pretty solid. Then we fast forward to the end of the season. We lose to the Lions. And then he's held out of a lot of OTA offseason workout stuff because of that knee flaring up. And it's like, all right, well, better now than later. We all thought, right? We didn't take it too seriously. Then we've noticed, hey, he's wearing a leg compression on that knee throughout all practice. But hey, whatever works for a player, whatever they feel comfortable in to play, and cool. But that is noticeable, right? Having a leg wrapped up on that injured knee. Then we fast forward to Cowboys joint practice, which we will talk about, but he performs well in that. And then the next day, Sean McVay's in one of the worst moods I've seen him since the 2022 campaign in his press conference, talking about injuries, Brennan Jackson being hurt, Bo Limmer, more O-line injuries. And then he mentions Ernest Jones, his knee. He's not practicing. He had his knee flared up again. Not good. Not good that this is a reoccurring issue. And again, I'm happy he is back. But guys, does this not smell like another Todd Gurley, Terrell Lewis situation where it's on? Hey, he's good this week. Next week, it flared up. We don't know if he's going to play or he misses games. Does it not feel like that, gentlemen? Am I wrong? Ram Nation, everybody, let me know in the comments. And gentlemen up here with me, am I wrong for feeling that way? Sincerely, because man, oh man, this is a lot of knee issues within a year's worth of football, right?
How do you feel, Paul?
Yeah. No, I concur. So he's such a valuable part to the defense. So you can understand the apprehension, particularly on a young unit, right? The Rams are a very young unit on defense. And he's such a crucial component to that D. And there's not a lot of depth at that position. That's the other part. So that's why we were all excited to see Roseboom, Hummel, Elias Neal played well, right? Fatukasi, right? The kid from Rutgers. Yeah. So nobody's really jumping off the screen, however, but just like you said about Gurley, Lewis, there is some positive. Remember when they had to manage Marshall Faulk's knee? Remember that? They had to do the same thing with his knee, and a lot of that was from the turf. So there's a couple of different things when I think about it. Like, is this something hopefully that's minor? I mean, not minor to the point. It's obviously impacting. Is this something that could be a small procedure? He sits out a certain amount of the season, then he's back to full strength as we get to the latter part of the season, maybe the playoffs. Is this something that they're going to do like they did with Marshall Faulk? Manage it every couple of games. We might see like last year, Ernest Jones might have to sit out a game here, like every fourth or fifth game. I don't know if that's really, the best thing, but if it works, it works. They know the extent of the injury. The other positive is that, we talked about Reggie Scott. I mean, that staff, they're just amazing. So if anybody that can handle it, we have the squad that can handle it. So, but I do think that if it's something that maybe we bite the bullet, and the Rams bite the bullet and just, do whatever they have to do. If he has to miss some games, whatever it be, and then he comes back healthy, ready to go. I think the roster is good enough that it can absorb that. Right. And there are a lot, and we were all Ram Nation. We were bouncing around some names. I was throwing it. He's coming off an ACL. I know. But Quan Jackson's always been one of my favorites. Show me the Quan.
Quan right? Alexander.
I'm sorry, Quan Alexander. Right. So show me the Quan. So I'd love to have him. The leadership capacity. There's some other names that are floating around out there, but inside linebacker is also a situation that when people start getting cut, you usually see like some quality, low-cost veteran linebackers floating around. So that's why I'm saying if there's a position where you can do that, inside linebacker is that position. But, yeah, I like Quan Alexander if he's good to go, depending on how much progress he's made with that injury.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer for Ernest, too, in his contract year. But I'm still hopeful. I know that's just how I roll. I hopeful that he's going to come back and play well. And if he can't, Omar Spates, one of these other guys, is going to step up and play well. So there's some other injuries. We don't really know. The Rams keeping it close to the vest. Bo Limmer, Brennan Jackson, Larrell Murchison. No, I didn't even know about Brennan Jackson. What's going on with him?
The soft tissue injury, McVay said, right? And that's, close to the vest as well. They're not revealing whatever that means. It's just, again, McVay was in the worst mood I'd seen him in a while this past week. And again, we always talk about it. Listen to what he has to say and the way he says it in his face. McVay has a terrible poker face. It's good for us because we get a lot of information out of stuff, right? But we know how things are going based on his mood during press conferences and how he speaks. So it seems like he's pretty annoyed and frustrated with the injuries, but that Ernest Jones news of him being ready to go for the second round of joint practices with the Cowboys, because we did cancel the second round with the Chargers because of traffic reasons and traffic concerns and Woodland Hills not being ready and all this logistical crap that Rams are trying to figure out still. Good thing Ernest Jones will be back for round 2 with Dallas, starters versus starters, back up in Oxnard. So, hey, again, hopefully everything goes well, gentlemen, Rams Nation out there. But again, let me know in the comments. Let us know. How do you feel about Ernest Jones' knee? Because, man, that's going to be something I'm just going to be praying to the Ram football gods that those injuries don't keep mounting on him, or that knee injury, whatever that is, swelling, partial tear, who knows, right? Rams don't reveal anything unless things get pretty serious. So, man, oh man, I hope he recovers well and is good enough to play at a Pro Bowl level that we all know he can, right?
Yeah,
and
I think
the subplot to that is also how important is it now for the Rams to have an inside linebacker emerge, because it might be a scenario, guys, that where they're going to manage his reps. So if you have a quality backer that can come in, right, which is why maybe they held out Troy Reeder, maybe they're going to roll with Reeder, right? In my opinion, the Rams have chosen familiarity over everything else this whole preseason and offseason. And they're very familiar with him. He's very familiar with the system. They might roll with Reeder and rotate Reeder, which I think would be a great idea, because you could bring in Jones on those third downs because they want him to blitz a lot. Keep him fresh, let him come in on those third downs, let him shoot, let him have a little bit of fun out there, rack up those sacks. So that might be a nice way to sort of balance it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ian, let's get into that game film. Are there, Paul and I talked about the players that we thought stood out. Maybe we got it wrong on some players. What do you have for us?
Look at gentlemen. I think whenever you watch preseason, the Rams Nation, I've said this many a times when we've all linked up here. Incredibly important to realize the situation that is happening in the preseason. For us, it is backups or third stringers and people who are maybe not going to be an NFL team, that are playing for us. I know everyone likes to get excited, and there's obviously some rookies we'll talk about, or I'll talk about quickly, that showed some good stuff. But we got to temper expectations a little bit, realizing that the opponents we're facing is more backup players and more third stringers and people, all borderline NFL guys.
So you're saying I'm a little hasty arguing Nick Hampton for the Pro Bowl. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, I like Nick Hampton. I think he showed some good stuff, but we just got to relax. Everyone
pump the brakes a little bit, right?
Everyone gets crazy, and I appreciate the fandom. I see it, and I got family that this way. I've been this way before about players. We just got to relax.
So who did you like then?
So after that little soliloquy I just said, I did really, really enjoy everything I saw from rookie defensive tackle, nose tackle Tyler Davis. It was awesome. It was awesome. And another thing in this preseason is, okay, all that I just said about backups, third stringers, and whatnot. Who stands out amongst that group? That is what I'm looking for. And then who stands out in a negative way, positive and negative? Tyler Davis was disruptive, powerful, quick, agile, explosive, pretty much every
relentless.
Relentless. Every adjective that you would like to throw good at a football player, he had it. And guys, we mentioned it when he got drafted. He is the Bobby Brown nose tackle replacement. Did we not say that because of Bobby Brown's, health issues, his inconsistent play for most of his young career, the first 3 years? So, when you have Dabo Sweeney talking about how Tyler Davis would be on the all-time Clemson team, when they've had great national championship level D lines, I mean, that's saying something, right? He has the most starts. He has like the most good tons of Clemson records for defense, and especially defensive line. So it looked like it. He looks like an NFL guy. He looks like he could rotate in and play immediately on Sunday come, Sunday Night Football against the Lions. That was fantastic. Then Jordan Whittington, explosive, quick, great hands, tough, willing blocker. Absolutely fantastic from the moments I saw from him. And he looks like another guy who could show up and play immediately for us on Sunday come, Lions time in a month or so. So them two were the main two guys that I was like, holy crap, they're ready to rock. And again,
and both 6th-round picks, both of them, right?
That's crazy. I mean, forget all the early round stuff. Feels like Les Snead can never get that right. Let's go rounds 4 and downward, and we got it, right? It just feels that way, which is shout out to the scouting department for digging deep and finding guys who, are slept on by other programs. So them two were the main guys. Now, Nick Hampton had some good moments. I like what I saw from the whole entire secondary, truthfully. I thought they all played pretty coherent. There weren't a lot of screw-ups. Everyone knew their responsibilities, whether it was cover 2, whether it was quarters coverage, cover 6, cover 4. Everything looked pretty clean. And Van Valkenburg had some good moments where it looked like he screwed up by going inside a couple of times and then would wrap around and make a good tackle or get the sack. So the defense entirely, truthfully, was pretty good. O-line, I thought this was Logan Bruss's best game. Again, preseason, I know, but because of his other preseason matchups were so dreadful, this was a great step, and he looked like, hey, he's finally figuring it out. The whole line in general, pass blocked well, and I just thought, what a good day for the trenches in general and everybody. Now, the negative. I think we all know what this is going to be right here.
You're not going to talk about our quarterback, are you?
Well, gentlemen, I've been a positive Stetson Bennett guy on here, wishing him well, that his recovery from whatever, mental health issues that he had mentioned, that he's better and then he's back here in the Rams organization, willing to be back, feels good enough to be back, and is here learning to be a better player. And at the same time, I can also say that he is not an NFL caliber quarterback based off the film I watched. It's that simple. Now, was the game-winning touchdown throw fantastic? And it's like, man, oh man. And there's a corner throw to Jordan Whittington that was awesome. There's some other dig routes, like a deep in route. Let's just call it a dig route by other NFL people. He threw some good lasers on that, and it's just so inconsistent. But all were just dreadful. There's just no way around it. Based on the film, it is like, what are you looking at? Or, man, he was open, but you layered that throw wrong. So the first interception where he was trying to throw a quick in route to Jordan Whittington, it would have been a tight throw, but he had made that throw a couple times, earlier in the game and in the game, and it just sailed on. The ball lost him, and he got picked. The next one, he throws it directly to a defender. That was he just didn't see him. Bad. Didn't see the field or didn't see the defense of where the defenders were that bad. The next one, he had a crossing route going deep that was going to be open for 20-plus yards, and he threw it right to the linebacker instead of putting it over him. Bad throw. And then another interception. I know the receiver was supposed to run a go route or a streak, just run up the field and launch it, and we were supposed to have another receiver running an in route that was going to be maybe open, but Stetson's got to see that the safety saw the outside receiver fall, so he's not running with him deep, but he still decided to throw it in, and he threw it right to the safety. So all four of those interceptions, and obviously the fifth one that didn't count, which was a tip, so I can kind of be like, it's fourth down, it happens. But those four were dreadful, and I don't know how any Rams fan can feel confident with him being the backup weeks 1 and 2 with Jimmy Garoppolo being suspended. I hope he gets better. I'm glad he overcame all the negative stuff in his life and is back with us and doing football. But there's no way you can watch that game, watch the film from all the different angles and say, hey, we feel kind of solid at the minimum about Stetson being the backup weeks 1 and 2. There's no way any coach in the Rams organization should feel that way. Again, the game-winning touchdown was fun, sidearm and all, and there were some other big throws that you could see some arm talent in there. But if you're making ridiculously bad reads and throwing interceptions, you can't be the backup for any team, truthfully, let alone our team. So I know I went a little rant there, but it's just I see a lot of people saying, no, he can still be backed up. No, he cannot. As of today, no, he cannot. Can he improve, next week or this upcoming week when he plays the Chargers and has a better performance? Maybe the week after. But as of today, there is no way he should be the backup, and the Rams have to find somebody else based off everything I saw on film. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe they'll get Dresser Wynn in for a couple of series.
Yeah, let's might as well see what he's got. But if not, Ryan Tannehill's out there, AJ McCarron. Come on, those guys immediately. Obviously, I expect Ryan Tannehill to probably not take that offer to be a third stringer, right, and then or be a short-term second and then be booted out. But it's just. There's just no way, gentlemen. There is no way he can be our backup come week 1 and 2 unless there's insane improvement in the next 2 weeks, right? That's just, the film don't lie. It was terrible. It really was.
You're really taking the feel-good moment out of this podcast, Ian, but that's okay.
I got to tell the truth, gentlemen. I'm a Rams fan deep down, but the film never lies. The good, the okay, and the bad. And
my only take on, I'm not disagreeing with you at all, but I also think, I'd like to see another game or two. It is this, and cross our fingers, maybe we'll see some improvement.
I hope so.
Paul's chomping at the bit to say something about Stetson Bennett, I think.
Not about Stetson Bennett, but why we're having this conversation. We're having this conversation because who they signed as our backup quarterback. Ram Nation knows where I stand on that. I will not back up. We would not be having this conversation if it was Carson Wentz that was signed as our backup, which should have happened. Yeah. You reward the people that give to your franchise. You don't bring in that person who's already negatively impacting the team. Hasn't even taken a snap, is already impacting us negatively for the first 2 games of the season. That's the karma when you sign this player. Everyone said it. And now you're going to roll 2 games, and we're all going to be like this, hoping nothing happens in those 2 games. It could be something as simple as somebody having to come off for 2 plays, right? Yeah. For, you know, if Optimus 9's got to come off just for 2 plays, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I stand by my position. The day he was signed, I said, this is going to come back to haunt us. Season hasn't even started. He's already adversely impacted us the first 2 games of the season.
That's true.
Well, it sounds like we need to see a little bit of dresser win. I mean, that's a shot in the dark, or maybe if you guys are right, bring someone else in for those first 2 games, and maybe longer.
Yeah, in fairness to Stetson Bennett, this is like he's playing his rookie season all over again, right? He's been away. We understand that, and to put that pressure on this kid now that he's got to win the backup spot when you have a backup. I mean, it's just not fair to him. Yeah. So on one hand, they're saying, we wanted him to be healthy and ready and everything, and now he's coming back. He's literally redoing his rookie season. To be fair to him, right? Sure, yeah. So I don't understand like how this sort of rolled out and what their plan was. It's like a repeat of 2023 when they were like, well, we don't need a kicker. I don't understand like how these gaping holes in thinking happen with such an innovative and bright coaching staff. They put themselves in a hole for the first 2 games of the season because of this one player. You team first. They've been saying it, we, not me. I don't see how this was a we, not me scenario that they created.
Who else, Ian? Anyone else stand out on the negative side?
On the negative, I mean, truthfully, there was nothing. I mean, some of the receivers, I mean, it could have been crispier routes. I mean, that's obviously nitpicking on guys who are probably not going to be on this roster, other than Whittington and maybe Tyler Johnson, who I thought obviously played well. But truthfully, there really wasn't a ton of negative I could say. I mean, okay, maybe I would like to see the running backs read the holes a little bit better. Obviously, Boston Scott's a veteran, but there's a couple of times I was like, he probably could have laterally moved this way and probably got another 4 yards, or same thing with Evans when he got opportunities. He was kind of slipping around. Maybe that's just a cleat issue. Maybe that's the way he leans forward when getting a handoff a little too much, I see, which, adds to sometimes falling. I've done that when I played in my younger days as well. So not too much negative, truthfully. It was just the quarterback play was just, it just can't happen. And again, there was good throws, but there was just those egregious interceptions just cannot happen. And Mark, real quick on this. Again, everyone out there, I hope Stetson Bennett improved, but there's just no way as of today he can be our backup weeks 1 and 2. It just cannot happen as of today. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, we just need to hope for some improvement, or the Rams make a move. Now, you wanted to talk about the offensive line in the same regard. I think maybe I got overly excited about how they performed, and it kind of just rehashing what you just said. The offensive line really did play well. Now we just got to understand who they're playing against, I guess.
And to that point, perfect. I think this jumps into how the joint practice went earlier in the week against the Cowboys before the game. Based off reports, it was the same thing like that first Chargers joint practice. And again, everybody, I value these joint practices significantly because it's starters versus starters instead of, second, third, and fourth strings, like how we roll in the preseason and how the Cowboys obviously roll too. And so when these backups who we saw, play well on this past Sunday did not perform well against starting level players in joint practice against the Dallas Cowboys. Matthew Stafford was pressured a ton in literally every play other than red zone work, right? When they had red zone sessions where the offense was purposely lined up close to the end zone. It wasn't a good day based off reports. Was it better? Sean McVay says yes, but better than the disaster it was against the Chargers. I mean, cool, but we have higher standards than disastrous or better than disaster, right? So again, we practice against the Cowboys tomorrow, I believe, Wednesday, because the Chargers one got scheduled or canceled, I should say. So again, everybody, preseason's fun, but you got to pay attention to the news and the performances of players in these joint practices. So offense, it was another whack day, to say the least. Defense, our pass rush apparently was fantastic against their starters. The two gentlemen behind me in the banner, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Jared Verse and Byron Young were kicking ass, and including Braden Fisk and including Kobe Turner. And the defense overall had a solid day up front. Now, the secondary kind of got cooked by Brandon Cooks. Kobe Durant had a bad day, apparently. And the secondary overall wasn't as sharp as previous joint practice with the Chargers. But again, you can't hit all the way to the ground. You're not game planning. I get all that. But to hear that these guys and Dak Prescott shout out Jared Verse and Byron saying, hey, those guys are some players. They were in the backfield a ton getting pressure on me. That says a lot. That's great news.
Yeah,
That's
the one play.
Like to hear.
Yeah, the one play Verse beating Zach Martin kind of went viral on the little video there.
I know everyone keeps talking about the defense. I'm sorry to cut you off, Mark. There's a lot of analysts out there that say, I'm so worried about the Rams defense. I don't know how they're going to do. They're such a liability. And I get it. If you're not paying attention like we are, or you're not locked into what's happening at these joint practices and practice in general and all that, I understand you won't have a full picture. But I really think in a weird way, just like last season where everyone was like, oh, the defense is going to have to be saved by the offense. Well, I think it might be the other way around like it was last year where the defense was keeping us in games and the offense is trying to figure crap out. So I think that might be the case again, this upcoming season based on how banged up the offensive line is and whatnot. So,
yeah, I'm really excited to see how they play. They got so many, young guys that I think can make an impact. It could be rocky at times for sure. And I'm still concerned about, giving up, drives that teams are running it down our throat and chewing up clock. But guys like Tyler Davis, like you already talked about, are going to help with that. Hey, Paul, I'll let you open up this discussion. I am going to share this depth chart that got released a little while ago. And it's probably, I don't think it's changed at all, but is there anything on here you want to point out? Any surprises, any highlights to this depth chart that you have your scratch in your head or you were surprised? This is the offense here we're looking at.
No. I mean, just like we had talked about, it made a lot of sense. I think the interior part of that, that equation there with McAllister, Zach Thomas, obviously, I think Bo Limmer is actually going to be the second string center.
Yeah, I think he already is. Yeah.
And once again, we hope that, his injury status has not been released. We just know he's been injured, but we don't know how serious or minor the actual injury is. So fingers crossed that he is good to go. So the interior part, Justin Dedich is going to be interesting. I'll tell you why. He played center at USC. He's sort of like a Brian Allen size player, 6'2", 305. Wasn't really described as like this physically gifted player, but he played a lot at USC. He had a better 22 than he did at 23. I think it was a solid UDFA signing. He's a hometown kid. He's from Cali. Mm-hmm. So I think he'll be interesting to see how they sort of handle him.
He played a little bit at the end of the game too, right?
Yeah, he played a guard. McAllister got a lot of the reps at center and did not look great at all. I mean, he held it down, but he did not look stellar. But I think the interior part of the line really is where you're going to see the continued battle. Stoops looked good. I thought he was interesting. And, shout out to the kid from Ohio, Sam Dubbs. And hopefully he's okay. He took that vicious hit.
He
made some great catches, man. He showed solid hands. But Xavier Smith, to me, I mean, I'm just going to keep saying his name. J-Dubs look good, but Xavier Smith is always open. That kid is always open, man. So I just like the way he plays. he plays like he's, you got to like look at the roster. You're like, wait a minute, how many years has this kid been in the league? He plays like he's been around for like 5 or 6 years. So shout out to the Rattlers, Florida A&M. So he looked good. But I'm really pumped to see the running back scenario when the Rams go back to playing real games and watching, Aaron Kyren and Blake the Great just hammering out. Boston Scott, I think, is going to be a great addition to this room. And, I got my boy Power I, who played running back. Dude, Zach Evans, he does not look good out there. His balance he's like Darrell Henderson all over again. Always tripping, always falling down.
Like I said earlier, he's just, when he takes a handoff, he's really his chest is way over his knees when he's running, and that leads you to fall down pretty easily. So that
one play, that fourth down where he did get the first down, but there was a gaping hole. He should have been in the house. And McVay looked up at the screen. He was even mouthing it out, like, what happened there? And he tripped, whatever it was. Yeah. But I think AJ or Curry, to me, is I want to see where he's going to wind up. I like the way he plays. He's a physical blocker. Whether or not he's got enough foot quickness to withstand in the pass blocking is another scenario. But, man, I counted 3 times he was on the ground, not because he fell on the ground, because he took somebody down with him, So he looks good in the run blocking. He's physical. Very consistent, quiet game. Foot quickness is going to be a thing, particularly in the pass blocking. But, like I said before, I think the Rams have their starters pretty much locked in on offense. So I think what you're going to get, it's that interior part of the line where I think we're going to get a little bit of movement. I think we're going to see a veteran being brought on. I really do. I think,
So who do you think's the starting left guard on opening day if it's not Jonah Jackson? Is it Noteboom? I mean, they don't show Noteboom there. Yeah, that's what
it should be.
Yeah.
It should be him. He's the honorary 6th man. Where McVay always says he's a starting caliber player, which he is. He could start for a lot of other teams, no doubt about it. But
that's your tackle depth right there. That's your tackle depth. If anything happens to him, that's your tackle depth, right? And Ian pointed out last time when we were talking about some of the players. That's the problem, right? When you go your 6th player, and that's what makes Noteboom so valuable. He is a true swing lineman, which is phenomenal. He can give you solid starts at guard. He's going to give you solid starts at tackle. So Limmer, I definitely think what he showed, he can definitely be a capable backup at center, right? If they're comfortable going with a rookie center.
Is Miller Forrestall making a play for a roster spot, or am I overthinking it?
Miller, the tight end?
Right. I mean, we know Colby Parkinson and Davis Allen are going to be there. Hunter Long, did he play at all?
Definitely going to be. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, okay. They're not going to carry 4 tight ends. So did I just answer my own question?
I think. Yeah, I don't think they're going to. I mean, do you guys think they're going to carry 4 tight ends?
He really did look good though.
Hey, but that's what practice squad is for. Practice squad is for.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the defense. And there was something that was, I don't know, I think you guys probably noticed this too. There was something really strange about this depth chart. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, but they list only the 1D tackle?
Yeah. Now there's 11 starters here. I get it. Is this their what they figure is their best defense, but it's not going to be their first down defense, right?
No. We're a base 3-4 scheme. Everybody who's not familiar with that, it's 3 true D tackles, 2 inside linebackers, the ones that stand behind the D linemen, and then we have our edge defenders, Byron Young and Jared Verse, outside linebackers lined up next to the D linemen. That's 5 guys up front and then 2 behind. So based off this depth chart here, they are treating it like, hey, we're running our nickel package, which is
right.
You take out a D lineman or any other linebacker player and you substitute them in with another defensive back. So because of that, and that's the way they laid out this depth chart, you can see there Quentin Lake is back at the big nickel star position. There's no one else that can hop him in that. So hey, whatever the best group of defenders, the best packages that come together, that's what we need. We don't need just because Quentin Lake is a traditional safety. If nobody else can play the nickel star, big nickel, whatever you want to call it, better than him, then he needs to be the guy starting at that spot. So off this depth chart too, you're talking about the D tackles and why it's Kobe Turner and Braden for a second. I mean, those are the two guys that are going to be out there. Pass rush situations. Those are 3-down dudes. Bobby Brown's the one who's going to be taken out when we go nickel, most likely anyway, right? He won't be out unless we go big nickel where we do like a 3-4-esque, but we take out Roseboom. We still keep the 5-down guys, but then we substitute in Quinn Lake. That's, a big nickel situation. Some people like to call it. I like to call it as well. So without getting any more schematics, I mean, gentlemen, is there anything that stands out to you? I mean, this should be the starting group. The backups should be in this order pretty much. I don't see anything out of the normal or out of like a shocking revelation of like, wow, because this is unofficial. But everyone in the starting group, that's how it should be. Anything else, something went wrong, right? And again, I think Tyler Davis I know he's third in the D tackle group, but he's going to probably be rotating in a lot more at nose tackle.
Yeah, I see. So. I haven't done the numbers, but I could see these four, Brown, Murchison, Turner, Fisk, as well as Durden, Davis, and Deshaun Johnson, all on that 53-man roster.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Durden really showed me something. I mean, it's only one preseason game, but if he continues to play like he did, if he can wind up and taking reliable snaps at nose tackle, that's going to be huge. Murchison, as we know, got hurt, so it's even more important now, and that frees up Tyler Davis, D-Day Davis. Like I said, right? I said, get this kid off the nose and let him run around a little bit, and you're going to see why Sweeney was talking about this kid, right?
Yeah.
You're not a 4-time all ACC selection for nothing, right?
Yeah,
that's what this kid did, right? He showed you he could play, and he even said that when he got drafted. He wants opportunities to show off his pass rush sizzle. The other area, which is going to be interesting, Ram Nation, keep an eye out for, is right there. And when you take a look at the secondary, so you got Darius.
I was going to get to that, yeah.
T. White, Jerry Jacobs. That's 4 corners with experience, right? Really nice luxury there. Tomlinson and Mark, your boy, Sean Jolly. I think Jolly's ahead of Tomlinson, if you ask me, right?
I've also heard that Charles Woods has been playing very well in camp, now I don't know if he stood out on tape though, but I thought Jalen McCullough, he had a heck of a game.
Yeah, I mean the entire secondary, like I stated earlier, they all played coherent. They played together. No one was screwing up. Like they knew their discipline roles of whatever the coverage was being called. I mean, again, tip my beanie, my cap to all of them. I mean, it's gonna be some tough cuts for those backup guys.
I think if there's going to be a surprise, it's going to come from this group. Surprise cut.
Yeah. And also inside linebacker, keep an eye on Omar Spates. He's my wild card. The kid looked good. Elias Neal also looked good. He got in very late in the game, but I'd like to see this kid a little bit more. The kid from Marshall. He just looked very, very fluid, very, very comfortable out there. I like the way he was moving around. So it will be interesting to see, and obviously Fadukasi, hopefully he'll get more quality reps. I'd like to see him make some more plays.
Was it just me, or did O'Shawn Mathis have a quiet game?
Yeah, he was only out there for a handful of snaps, but I would like to see him out there more as well. But look at the depth at outside linebacker too. We're looking at the Hampton, Hollywood Hoyt, hopefully Brennan Jackson. That soft tissue injury is not serious, but you're talking with Action Jackson, that you're 5 deep. I mean, that's just roll him out there.
Needs to be that way. It has to be that way to win a championship.
Roll him out there.
Way. Yeah.
Michael Hoyt has really grown on me. You saw his new tattoo, right?
The Hollywood Hoyt,
he's got
he's not leaving. He's not leaving. He's not leaving.
Yeah, I really like him as a player and a person. He seems like a pretty chill guy. And then, of course, we already have they updated this? I guess they have.
Yep, Tanner Brown got released. He got waived.
Tanner Brown, they said we've seen enough. And again, I'm happy for Joshua McCarty because hopefully this will give him some confidence. Going back real quick about the joint practice round 1 with the Cowboys, he had a bad day. I think he missed 3 field goals. And, that's why I was like, oh, here we go again. Can't even kick in a non-super pressure situation, and he's already missing kicks. I was like, fantastic. But Sean McVay has backed him up. They said we believe in him. He's calm, steady, consistent. He said that was just an off day for him, but they believe in him. And Tanner Brown, thank you for trying out with us, but they believe in the kicker Cardi, and we'll see what happens. Again, I got to see him in game action. We'll see him more in preseason, obviously, and we'll get a better idea how he performs in real game settings. But hey, I hope they made the right decision. That's all I can hope for.
Does this remind you of last year with Dicker the kicker? We had two good kickers, right? And then we lost out on Dicker the kicker. Tanner Brown really showed me something. I like the way he approached the competition. And I have to say, I did not realize how gifted he was physically until I did, watched him out there and looked at his background a little bit more. Holy cow, man. Kid is a beast. So anybody who signs Tanner Brown might be onto something there. So, but I like Cardi's demeanor. Every interview, I like the way he approaches it. He's very calm. He's very steady. Let's see how he does in his first pressure kick when the regular season starts.
Yeah, for real.
There's a couple other things we wanted to talk about. We got to go back to Jimmy G. His comment about being in a place where he's allowed to be himself. It seems like this happens so often when players come to play for Sean McVay, and they just go on and on about the culture and how much they love playing here. Is that enough to sway you, Paul? You're still not getting your Jimmy G. Did he take a little bit of a shot at the 49ers, Raiders, and Patriots when he says that, right?
100%.
I think that's the issue. Yeah. He wants to be himself. I think that's the issue. It's himself. That's the issue.
Man.
Look, outside of obviously the Garoppolo Wentz, debate, which Wentz should be the guy, but it's over with. Nothing we can do about it. But it is good to hear. Anytime we hear a player who has not been a part of this team say good things, a Garoppolo, a Trey White, Darius Williams on why he wanted to return, Baker Mayfield. I mean, we can go down all the list of players. OBJ has talked about the culture.
Jalen Ramsey.
Von Miller. Everyone who's ever came here, whether it was a short amount of time, a long period of time, everyone says, damn, this is a good spot to play football in. And at least at the bare minimum, Garoppolo feels comfortable. And, everyone thought Baker Mayfield was terrible when he got to us, and he was a failing NFL quarterback. And played some pretty solid football for us, and now here he is, new contract, played good football for the Bucs, and hoping to get back to the playoff tournament and win the division for his team again. If Garoppolo is forced to play, and again, he better not think football gods, just bless us, please, just bless us in another good season of Stafford. If he has to play, I do believe in McVay to put Garoppolo in good situations to throw the football. I really do. I really do believe McVay will get him situated. Now, execution on his part, that's always a coin flip with any player. Duh. But for him to say, hey, call out the Niners and the Raiders spots, that's a giant green flag for any other free agent player, quarterback or not. Hey, the Rams are a spot to go to if you want to play good football and also enjoy yourself while doing it too. And
and there's also the other part of it, maybe not so much for Jimmy G. A lot of these young guys, the rookies, come into Thousand Oaks, and Woodland Hills and Irvine or wherever from, some of these other places in the country, and it's really eye-opening to them, what a wonderful place it is to live on top of that. So you get to play for McVay, you're in SoCal, you get the beautiful geography, the great weather, everything else. A lot to be happy about for these players, that's for sure.
And real quick, I mean, McVay runs it serious, but there's still what's the word I want to say? There's a family atmosphere to how the Rams run their organization. Sean runs it with the culture. Kyle Shanahan's more militaristic, all right? But, a lot of players are pretty loose, but there is more of a militaristic kind of throwback 80s smash mouth way of doing things how they run their practices and how they run their building. And then the McDaniels is just a cheap copy of the Belichick Patriot way that never works anywhere else other than Bill Belichick doing it himself. So shocker that didn't work out, right? Very super militaristic and everyone's walking on eggshells. So, hey, shocker. Good coach who lets you be yourself, family atmosphere. What else could you ask for? come on, free agents, whoever you are, next year and beyond, come to us and we'll play some good winning football and we'll have a chance to win more championships.
Yeah, you just reminded me. You just reminded me. You're talking about they still work and they still put in the work and it's still a business. I don't know if you saw the video. I don't know where was it Behind the Grind last year, where Carson Wentz showed up at 6:30 in the morning and Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford were in there reviewing film, and he walks in with a cup of coffee and is like, "Oh, you guys are already." How long you guys been here?
Yeah,
they talked about that. Yeah, they said even now this year they have something called the Breakfast Club that shows up. Stafford was talking about it, that he and Kupp, and then Puka shows up every once in a while. And now that a couple of players are working out together, they have like this very early breakfast because they're there so early. They call it the Breakfast Club. So I think that's pretty interesting. It shows the commitment, right?
Yeah,
what you need.
So you guys, I don't know which one of you were talking about. I wanted to talk about these McVay and Stafford interviews. I haven't seen them. Unless you're talking about the press conference, you're talking about an interview, right?
No, I'm talking part of my take. I know there's half of football fans that don't like them because they're too goofy and they're too bro personality, right? Everyone knows what I mean by that. And there's another half where I'm probably part of that half where I don't watch their full show. Just truthfully, I don't have time to do 2-hour long podcasts unless I have time super early in the morning or later in the night when I'm working out or doing something. But I always tune into when they have an interview of a player I'm interested to listen to and see what they have to say, because in their interviews, they do get a looseness out of players and coaches and executives that they do interview, which, everybody, when they're talking to our own Rams people or any other big junction, there's always a robotic, cliche way that players and coaches talk. Let's just be honest, right? They're trying to be as PG as possible and not reveal things that are detrimental to the team and not reveal secrets and all that stuff. But part of my take, they get those things out of there. They're R-rated, right? Very loose. There's a lot of dumb little stuff that, a little bro humor and stuff it's funny to chuckle at. But there's some revealing things in this interview that I found, very fascinating, especially with McVay and Stafford as well. So Matthew Stafford, we've all talked about the contract stuff and how stressful McVay, how stressed McVay was, and oh my God, what's going to happen with that? And it's pretty clear. Stafford said it. I would like to play 3 or 4 more years. He's like, and then obviously he walked it back at the end of the interview saying, oh, we got to take it year to year because he realized, like, hey, I don't want to put myself in a box when I need to renegotiate for more money next season, which he deserves, top 5 quarterback. So that was great to hear that this isn't like a 1-year wonder. Oh my God, what's going to happen with Stafford unless something bad happens? But he's down to play for us until he's pushing 40. Fantastic news. He has not said that, and he said in that interview. I think that's great news, right, Paul? Right, Mark? I think so for sure.
Oh yeah. Did you see the interviews, Paul?
Yep.
And another quick thing that he said that I thought was fantastic to get insight on, because Stafford never talks about his injuries and never talks about any of that stuff, and he's got true grit, true warrior mentality, and he talked about how crappy he felt and how bad his injuries were. Not only in 2021, the championship Super Bowl season, but in 2022, it was even worse. I mean, he talked about how bad his elbow was in 2021. He played through it and threw 40 touchdowns and led us to a championship. And then how much worse it got the offseason, and then how he was just not himself before he got the spine injury in 2022, and how he thought that elbow injury was going to make him retire. And how he thought the spinal injury was going to make him retire, and how the thumb injury this last season was going to make him retire. I mean, it's really phenomenal. And the Rams, it just goes to show you, I love Coach McVay. I love it. But the Rams will lie to our faces about how serious injuries are. And they downplayed the hell out of that elbow injury of Stafford. But Stafford said it was bad, and I just muscled through it. And he said 2022, he didn't know if his elbow was going to be good enough to continue playing. And I'm happy that it did heal up, and he says he feels the best he's felt since he's been a Ram in the last couple of years. That's great news for us.
Yeah,
so again, we don't get those little details, and oh man, I mean, right, Mark? Jesus.
Yeah, and that thumb injury was pretty bad too. We knew it when it happened, right?
Yeah.
So what was your takeaway, Paul? You saw the interviews too?
Yeah, I mean, look, Stafford's probably one of the most personable guys out there. You can just see it on the interview, and I was surprised how many people don't realize that Clayton Kershaw was his center in high school. They went to the same high school, so
yeah, it's
it's a great story. He didn't talk about it here, but there's a great Clayton Kershaw interview, Ram Nation, you have to watch. But Clayton Kershaw got thrown out of 2 games protecting Stafford.
Yeah,
for like a late hit. So I think that's pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, the one thing that stood out for me was when he talked about that shoulder separation, and he didn't want to come out of the game. Because it's coming on the heels where I think it was 2 weeks ago, people were talking about
the legendary
Stafford.
Lions video, right? It was mic'd up. Touchdown. Yeah.
And he was like telling the trainers, and I want to show for everybody out there. This is just my opinion, right? I think the Rams don't even realize how lucky they were to get Stafford.
Yeah,
right?
Real.
They have no idea how lucky they are to have Optimus 9 on this roster. So the one thing that stood out for me in that whole scenario was, number one, obviously fighting to want to get out there, telling the trainers, no way, I'm not coming out. Through all that craziness, this is how football savvy this player is. He knew that they had already called the timeout. He did not have to sit out a play. He knew that in the craziness, the chaos, he was already thinking about that. He was saying, that's what I was trying to communicate to the trainer. I don't have to sit out. They already called the timeout, right? They had called the timeout already. I want to go back out there. So not just the tenacity, the toughness, but that football IQ is what separates him from everybody else. Yeah. So when everything is going south, this is the guy that's going to be head and shoulders above everybody else. He'll know how to settle it down. He knows which direction to go in. He is a proven winner. They can knock him. This is not a player you talk about via stats. This is a player you talk about via the eyeball test. Watch him play. End of story. You don't need stats for this guy. So Optimus now, you just keep doing what you're doing. The Rams are really lucky. He's going to take them, and they got to do it. And the fact that we're talking about all these injuries just goes to show you how unfair it has been to staff. That you have to protect this guy. This is how valuable he is to your franchise. He should not be worried about injuries, right? You literally treat him like he's wearing the red jersey. No one touches him, right? And that's the bottom line. So that's why I'm just happy he's a Ram.
Yeah, me as well. Yeah. And real quick, Mark, to the McVay side of it, real quick. I mean, McVay was pretty loose. It's always good to hear a coach drop F-bombs and not be robotic press conference, where he'll get fined for, being true to himself. I'm thinking the interview makes me laugh. But we got some good tidbits. Aaron Donald texts McVay practically every day almost, asking about how the Rams are doing, how did joint practice go, how's this player looking, how's this rookie looking. So for all the hopefuls out there that are hoping for an Aaron Donald return, I think after McVay's comments sharing that news, which he probably should have kept to himself just for this not to build up, there is hope that Aaron Donald does make a late season playoff push. If the chance is at 1%, it's definitely a lot higher after he dropped that special news that, again, he probably should not have shared. But if Aaron Donald's checking in that much, gentlemen, I mean, he has got some level of interest, right? Am I wrong on that? Shoosh.
Yeah, he must. It's a hard thing to let go of, probably, and maybe the Rams won't be scheduling a jersey retirement ceremony this year, huh? Maybe they're going to hold off till 2025 just in case.
Oh yeah. I mean, the locker's still there in SoFi Stadium, right? I mean, Paul, what do you think? I mean, Aaron Donald's checking in with us, dude.
I know McVay says he respects AD, right? If I'm that, you know what I'm gonna do? Yeah. I'm gonna whisper to Shula, do me a favor, send him a text. Yeah, let it come from Shula. Let Shula get yelled at, right? Yeah. That's what I would do if I'm McVay. But yeah, I agree with you. I love to see McVay in that interview. He was laid back, he was letting it fly. The fact that he talked about that call in the Detroit Lions game in the playoffs, I think that just shows you, man, he's not afraid. He's ready for the scrutiny, and that's what makes him a great coach. He's not afraid to say, I probably should have done that differently. Listen, and it's okay. Listen, it's in the past, and he's the type of coach that's able to learn from that. And just he talked about that, and they brought that up. You brought somebody in to help you with the game management part of it. Yeah. It's exactly right. He's about winning, and that's what it's all about. But at the same time, you see that he understands the importance of letting these players have their lives, letting them have their personalities, letting them be who they are. I think he understands that human element of it. And I have to give him credit. I don't think enough people, we talk about it here, the constant turnover in the coaching staff. It's not because he doesn't, care about these coaches, but he has already accepted the fact that in a winning organization, your coaches are going to be what? They're going to be recruited. But I love what he said. It's a great opportunity to constantly have new ideas come into the organization.
Yeah.
Fresh ideas, fresh faces. And I think that's a key point. It keeps the franchise fresh. It keeps the franchise moving. A lot of look, it's always great to see them out there, being who they are, right? The coaches and the players. So, listen, we're a Ramley. It's always great to see our boys out there, man. Great job to both of them.
Yeah, McVay, the times I've seen him, the examples on the sideline during the preseason game, chatting with the announcers, seems like such a chill guy. And then him and Les Snead during the draft, there was that one exchange where Snead was like, it was like two buddies. It was like me and a friend of mine talking, and he's like, "Oh, so how long do we have?" And McVay's like, "It's something right in front of you there, Les."
Yeah. And one more thing that popped in my brain. I mean, speaking of longevity, he talked about shortly how he can't believe that he felt like he was going to walk away, and he hopes that he's going to be coaching for the Rams for a very long time. He said, "Great news. Please sign Stafford, Rams, to another 3-year contract. Let him play till he's 40, and we can just go year by year after that. Please give McVay a 10-year deal. Just do it. No one will think it's a bad idea." Right? No one will be like, "Oh, that was such a terrible idea." McVay wants to be here for a long time. Stafford wants to be here for player terms. Another 3-4 years is a long time. And do what you got to do, Stan Kroenke, to get these gentlemen to be our quarterback and coach for this foreseeable future. Please.
Before we close out here, 3 things. We don't need to talk about it a lot, but we wanted to share it. Paul shared this with us. The Rams are now the second most valuable NFL franchise behind the Cowboys. So that's great news for Stan Kroenke. I don't know what it means for us.
Right.
You know what it means for us? It means that Woodland Hills facility better have the best AC when we go to training camp, right? Because I know it is burning hot out there in this summertime. And, training camp will be held out there. We all make the trip out there, right, gentlemen? We all will do it. And we just hope there's some great facilities, some great AC when it's roasting. And so if there's anything that'll help us out, can you do that for us, Kroenke? Just build a nice training camp spot for us out there in Woodland.
Yeah, and Woodland Hills it's like tucked into that corner, and it's actually, you think it would be cooler there, but I think it's up against the hills there, and it just kind of cooks. Yeah. I spent a lot of time in that area. We used to ride our bikes to Topanga Plaza, if you know where that is, which I think no longer exists, right?
I don't think so. Yeah.
So, and what else? J.J. McCarthy probably out for a little bit. That's a shame. He was, I guess, a lot of these young quarterbacks are really stepping up.
Jahmyr Gibbs has a hamstring injury, so now that games are starting to be played, joint practices are happening. 49ers are beating up. Shanahan's canceling practice. So in a weird, crappy way, it's not just us, thankfully. It felt like that for about 2-3 weeks where we were the only team that had like significant starters have some pretty injuries. They're starting to pile up, and it's a shame. It's really a shame. So we wish good health on everybody, right, Mark, right, Paul? And man, oh man, it's that time of year you hold your breath, right? Everybody back up.
But Lion fans, I will tell you this: despite the Gibbs injury, is that now Sione Vaki. Now you're going to see what this kid can do.
That's going to be very painful if
he's going to light it up. That's my boy.
Wow. Yeah,
he should have been a Ram, but hey,
I don't know if you followed our mock drafts closely, Ian, but we were the Sione Vaki. We were the Sione Vaki YouTube channel there for about a month.
Just don't do it in week 1 against the Rams, Vaki.
Yeah.
Don't do it against the Rams.
Brad Holmes, a Ram guy deep down. He's got the similar eye to all.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
It's a shock that he went to them.
And the last bit is no news apparently on Brandon Ayuk, right? I hear something different every day that They have a trade in place, but they also have a contract offer on the table. And I can't wait to see how that unfolds. But I guess all we can do is wait.
It's called
gentlemen,
negotiation leverage.
There's one moment where it's like Steelers have the deal, Niners are approving it, but they're making a last minute push. Ayuk doesn't know what to do. I mean, look, if Ayuk not on the Niners is more beneficial for us to win the West, duh. But
right.
I hope Mike Tomlin and them pulled off. But the last thing that I had read or heard from some NFL insiders is that Niners are making a big push, and Ayuk is kind of conflicted in the last final hour here, or whatever you want to call it. So who knows? Hopefully, they pay him a lot, so they can't pay Brock Purdy, or whatever happens, and he goes away, which they probably won't happen. I mean, whatever to make their cap situation worse, whatever for the 49ers.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk, if I'm a top 15 wide receiver in the league, that's probably a fair assessment, maybe top 10. To go to Pittsburgh and play with those quarterbacks and that offense, I don't know, that wouldn't really excite me, but that's just me.
Yeah.
As opposed to
what he wants.
Right. Yeah, maybe we can talk him into moving to Pittsburgh. But okay, any last words, guys? Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so, gentlemen. And I'm just this
Let's
game
get the
film to
season
watch.
started.
I know, this game film to watch.
No.
It's great to see, and
good
to see the young guys play good. And don't worry, everybody. There will be film breakdowns from my end on this channel once week 1 starts, and it'll be on. And I'm excited to share.
That's right. Ian has the keys to the channel, so he can start posting whenever he wants. And as we get closer to the opening day, I'm going to be pumping out more YouTube videos as well. Hopefully 3 or 4 a week, as well as the podcast. Going to be some duplicity. There's no way to avoid that. So please subscribe to this channel. Really appreciate it, and like these videos, and do the same for the podcast as well. And I don't know about you guys. I'll do a little pregame video. I'll let you guys know when I'm doing that. If you want to join, you're more than welcome to. And then we'll do a quick reaction Sunday, and we'll just keep on rolling. Try to get the heartbeat of this channel going as we move towards the regular season.
And to the Ramley, good times and good health. Ramley forever.
You said it, man. Okay, thanks a lot, guys, and we'll do it again soon. Out here from Rams Up. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.